Welcome to OWL the Storyteller, where history wears heels and art drapes itself in silk. Today, I'm taking you inside the High Belle Époque, that magical window between 1890 and 1900, when Parisian streets were awash with couture and creativity, and fashion became art in motion. Let's peel back the pastel layers and discover how culture, art, and fashion shaped one another in an era obsessed with meaning through beauty. First, let's set the scene. The bustle faded away in the 1890s, making space for bell-shaped skirts and softer silhouettes. By the mid-1890s, leg of mutton sleeves ballooned dramatically, echoing the optimism of a rising middle class and a world on the brink of technological miracles. The late 90s brought us longer bodices and more structured volume, all climaxing as Paris showcased itself to the world at the 1900 Exposition Universelle. This was a moment when culture, couture, and curiosity walked hand in hand. So what artistic movements painted the runway of the Belle Époque? Let's start with Art Nouveau. Picture Alphonse Mucha's posters, with their flowing hair, whiplash curves, and blooming flowers. Now imagine those same organic lines as embroidery sprawling over silk and chiffon gowns. Designers plucked dragonflies and vines from nature, turning them into jewelry and delicate motifs on evening dresses. Next, Symbolism. Think velvet gowns in deep purples and emeralds, shimmering under candlelight in dreamy salons. This movement was all about mood and mystery. The mystical femininity of symbolist art inspired jewel-toned velvets and softly draped silhouettes, making every outfit feel like a painting come to life. Then, there were the Nabis, a group of modern decorative artists. They were obsessed with pattern and surface over realism, and their influence is everywhere in the period's fashion, from boldly patterned cloaks to textured fabrics that blurred the lines between clothing and interior design. They believed fashion could be wearable art, and honestly, who could disagree? Don't forget the Decadent movement. Fashion here was pure theater-layered black lace, gold-trimmed brocades, and dramatic gowns fit for the cabaret stage. Inspired by the likes of Oscar Wilde and Toulouse-Lautrec, these looks were for those who wanted their nightlife and their wardrobe to be unapologetically opulent. Let's talk about the essential garments of the era. The evening gown low neck, trailing train, and jewel colors captured symbolism and decadence. The walking suit was practical, a tailored jacket, crisp skirt, and high collar, reflecting a modern, realistic approach. The tea gown? Uncorseted, flowing, embroidered with nature, a romantic nod to the pre-Raphaelites, and couture ensembles were all about hand-beating, intricate draping, and corsetry, echoing Art Nouveau's sinuous flair. Who stitched art and fashion together? Alphonse Mucha, of course, gave us iconic illustrations that redefined femininity. Jean-Philippe Worth, son of the legendary Charles Worth, translated salon art directly into his silhouettes. Paul Poiret, just starting out in the late 1890s, broke ground with his Orientalist unstructured forms. Toulouse-Lautrec, meanwhile, immortalized the bohemian nightlife and the daring stage costumes of Moulin Rouge regulars. And then, there were the cultural moments that defined the age. In 1895, the Lumière brothers gave us cinema suddenly. Fashion was moving on screen. By 1897, the Maison de l'Art Nouveau opened, and the style swept the mainstream. At the turn of the century, Paris threw the Exposition Universelle, dazzling the world with a heady mix of global design and haute couture. This decade didn't just wear art, it lived it. Thank you for joining me at OWL the Storyteller. The High Belle Époque was a gallery you could walk through and wear. It's a reminder that when art meets fabric, we don't just dress, we express. If you enjoyed this journey, like and subscribe for more stories woven from the threads of history.